Hi, boys and girls. This week for science, we are going to start a new project and a new topic. You are all going to become engineers. So what is an engineer? I have a presentation to show you, and hopefully you enjoyed the first video that you watched from the Sci Show Kids, the science movie. So it's the big screen. All right, so what is an engineer? Engineers are problem solvers. So I know all of you are problem solvers. They imagine solutions to problems. Then they invent something, design it, test it, and then improve it to make it perfect. There are many different types of engineers. So you saw that in the movie. We had the mechanical engineers who would build a car or a bike and get people from one place to another. An electrical engineer that would make the microwave to make your food warm. An aerospace engineer, if you are interested in traveling to space, engineers have made that possible. So many different types of engineers, and each of you are going to become an engineer today because we have a problem to solve. So let's become engineers. There is a problem and you are going to solve it by following the engineering design process. So the first step is to ask a question. What is the problem that needs to be solved? You're going to possibly do some research to find out more about the topic before you start. So I'm going to use the example from the movie that you watched. They knew there was a problem getting from San Francisco to the other cities in California. So they did some research. We know that more people are moving to San Francisco, so we need somehow something that they could build and get them to the mainland faster. Okay, they don't have time to go all the way around California. So they did more research. They found out we need a bridge. Then they imagined it. How could we build this bridge to make it possible? They brainstorm and get ideas. The next step is to plan. Draw a design, label all the materials that you'll need, and then make a step-by-step instruction on how you're going to make it happen. Then comes my favorite step, which is to create. You're going to build and test your plan to make and see if it works. So build your idea and then test to see if what you did makes sense and is going to work to get the job done. The last step is to improve. Okay, so after you've created something, it doesn't always work on the first try. So you're going to reflect or think about what worked and maybe what changes could be made, and then make the changes so that your design works. All right, here's your challenge. So the first step, ask, what is the problem that needs to be solved? Rapunzel. Rapunzel has been locked in her tower for too long. She needs you to rescue her. So can you help? She needs an engineer. The challenge. Imagine, brainstorm. Think of possible solutions that are going to help our poor Rapunzel. So, engineers, here we go. An engineer must plan and also carry out the investigation. So what you need to know, Rapunzel's tower is about the height of your chair. When you are testing your invention, use a chair for the tower. Second step is your materials. What are you allowed to use? Tape, scissors, glue, string, and paper. And after I finish describing it, I'm going to show you my sample materials. Third step, plan. Draw a design, label materials, and make a step-by-step instruction of how you can create it. So remember, our tower is going to be a chair, but when you design your plan, you're going to think of it like it's a tower. So on the page there, it gives you Rapunzel's tower, and you have to try to think of a plan using only those materials that I listed on how you can safely get little Rapunzel down from the tower. Now, who's Rapunzel? My idea was that you can use a small Lego figure or maybe a small doll or animal that you have at home to actually get Rapunzel down from the tower. So as you're thinking of your plan, maybe collect your Rapunzel first so that you know who's going to have to get down from that tower using the materials that you have. And like I said, my favorite step, create it. So using tape, scissors, glue, string, and paper. Your tower is the height of a chair. You have your Lego figure. How can you get it down safely from the tower? And you're going to build your ideas and then test them out. See if you can actually get the figure to come down. All right, and then the last step is to improve on what you have done. So you want to think about what worked and what didn't really work, and then make the changes to make it possible. So on your engineering log, and I'll show you this again later, this would be your designs. So maybe the first time you had one design, but then you realize something didn't work quite right and you need to add to it. That would go in the second space because that is your second try to see if your design worked. And you can keep track of which design worked the best. When you're all finished, that's when we do a reflection. And I would like to know, did you successfully get Rapunzel down from her tower? Why or why not? Now in this project, hopefully, I want you to keep trying until you can get her down safe. And what was the hardest part? What part did you find the hardest in this project to get Rapunzel down from the tower?